And let's go. By the way, the meeting is ending at 1 o'clock, 1 hour and 40 minutes. We just got word of that. I think they're in there shaking hands. It doesn't look like they're going to address the press at all. I would assume, as far as she said there was preconditions, here comes the president right now. Let's see if we pick up the audio. The chairman is getting in his car. The president's getting in his. An hour and 40-minute meeting. We've heard that it might go as long as 3 or 4 hours, but the president did have something at late afternoon back in Washington with the First Lady. He needed to leave by 1, but an hour and 40 minutes. Brian Kennedy's joined us. We're going to blow some brakes here as we strike close to midnight. Here on the 29th, my 1-year anniversary of my release from prison. I'm going to finish the day here with Real America's Voice in the World, doing what we love to do best, which is bring you the most important events in world history. Brian Kennedy, the meeting only took an hour and 40 minutes. President Trump, they didn't have a joint press conference. There's the cars going away right now. They didn't have a joint press conference. They didn't even come back to the flags and shake and take anything from the media or even make a joint statement at the end. Your assessment, sir?
Well, great to be with you, Steve. The whole meeting started off in kind of a strange way when Xi Jinping said China has this view of a world where they're successful and President Trump is also making America great again. That is an absolute lie. He knew it. So he started with a fabrication because they want a world where they're the dominant power. They want a world where they're the manufacturing base of the world. President Trump, on the other hand, wants a world where we can manufacture things here in the United States for the good of the American people. Xi Jinping wants a world that is, in America really, I think, that is perfect for the tech bros. President Trump wants a world that's good for the American worker, and those two things are not compatible right now. And so Xi Jinping, we worry about somehow that Xi Jinping might lose face. President Trump has face too. So you insult President Trump when you do that. They started COVID. They have 200,000 men of military age. They have, brought over to the United States during the Biden administration that are causing all sorts of nefarious behavior. They run bioweapons labs secretly in the United States. They steal $1 trillion of intellectual property every year. And so when we think about face here, that goes both ways. And if anybody would have had something that they should agree on first, it would have been President Trump just asking him to take back those 200,000 men of military age that are here in the United States.
Way, right there, we have on the camera, we have President Trump's The Beast, which is going to go back out to see him off. We're going to follow all of this. Brian, hang on for 1 second. Thayer, hang on. Forrest, hang on. Pasovic. In these meetings, as you know, it all has to be translated. So an hour and 40 minutes is not really an hour and 40-minute meeting. An hour and 40-minute meeting is a meeting that's got, 30 minutes or 40 minutes of content. And when these meetings start, just going around the table, and you're not introducing yourself, but these are very formal and very highly stylized. It's not like sitting around a conference table and actually negotiating a transaction. This is very much, and I think a lot of this comes from the way the Chinese roll. Everything's, because he's an emperor. Everything's very stylized. What could happen? Right there, you see the honor guard. That's the honor guard around Air Force One. You see Ambassador Monica Crowley right there. So the red carpet, they're waiting the President of the United States. We're going to watch all this press pool coming out. POSO, hour and 40-minute meeting. And it didn't look like any warm, it didn't look like any, a warm hug at the end. Pretty formal. President Trump went, and his team walks away and kind of goes and gets positioned so they can get through the back of Air Force One. You've been on Air Force One many times. There is the president in the Beast at the airport at Busan. The meeting is over. Poso, so your thoughts?
Well, Steve, I think this means we're going to get a very focused meeting, whatever we had here, a very focused agenda. This is not something that got into wide-ranging topics. A lot of people asking, was Taiwan going to be broached? Was perhaps Russia, the question of the Russia-Ukraine war, going to be broached? I don't think that probably came up at this point. This, I would imagine, was directly focused on those trade talks, directly focused on whether or not there's going to be a deal, whether or not those tariffs 100% are going to go in effect or not. And of course, you're not seeing the same level of, for example, you don't see him riding around in the Beast with Xi Jinping. You don't see the meeting of the two of them going together like you even saw with Putin, like we saw at the Anchorage Accords that took place a couple of months ago. So, that level of camaraderie, that level of warmth, it's just not there, whether it's not reciprocated from Xi or if it's President Trump saying, look, we're walking away from something, we'll see. But at this point, it's really going to come down to, will the Chinese Communist Party agree to drop their barriers to entry for U.S. manufacturers and U.S. goods to come into China? If they're not going to do so, then quite frankly, the tariffs need to go on and the tariffs need to be ratcheted up, because the PRC is totally dependent on trade with the United States, the golden market of the United States, as you were saying earlier tonight. So if they don't have the ability to export out, they are the ones who will wither from this, not us. We are the ones who want money to stay inside of our borders. We want to increase our own manufacturing. That's what President Trump's backbone is. That's what the Rust Belt wants. That's what Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin and hopefully even New Jersey, where Jack Ciattarelli's got a great shot. Coming up here in a couple of weeks, or really just 1 week. That's what this is about.
Hang on one second. The president's going up the staircase. That was the honor guard of the Republic of Korea Army, some of the toughest hombres in the world. So the president's going up. It's just going to be the president. The rest of the cabinet is going to go through the back entrance. Some of the fact, I think, will actually stay. Scott Bessent's going to stay. I think Lutnick's going to stay. We had Jameson Greer was at the table next to Lutnick. Ambassador Perdue is the president of the United States. We will momentarily, I'm sure, get a readout of what happened.